QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022. Create invoices using billable time. Get ready because we bookkeeping pros are moving up the hilltop with QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022. Here we are in our Get Great Guitars practice file, going through the setup process with the view drop down, the open Windows list left-hand side, company drop down, home page in the middle, maximizing to the gray area, reports drop down, company and financial, taking a look at that balance sheet standard. Customizing the reports up top, range change from 010122 123122. Fonts and the numbers, changing that font size to 14. And okay, yes please, okay. Let's go to the reports drop down, company and financial, P&L, profit and loss, range change 010122 123122. Customizing the report, fonts and the numbers, changing the font size to 14. Okay. Yes, please. Okay. One more time. Reports drop down, account and taxes, trial balance, range change 010122 123122. Customizing the report, fonts and the numbers, changing that font size to 14. Okay. Yes, please. And okay. Let's go back to the home page where we had then entered our time. We've entered our time for our billable items, the scenario being that similar to, say, a partnership type of setup where we might have a bookkeeping firm, CPA firm, or law firm. We've got staff that we're imagining that we're going to bill out their time for. In this case, those are going to be guitar instructors who are employees. They've entered their time into the billable items down below, assigning them to the customers now on a periodic basis, possibly weekly, possibly every 2 weeks, or possibly monthly. We're going to be entering our invoices based on those timesheets to be billing out the customers. So let's do that now. We're going to say create an invoice, and we'll just go through these customers that are on the timesheet. Let's just open up the timesheet real quick. If I was to view the timesheets, then you'll recall that we entered into the using time data here, and we entered them for our two customers or employees, Adam and Erica, and we entered them for the time frame of January, February, this last week in February. There's the time that we are now expecting to see used to populate. We entered the time with these service items. Those service items apply to a customer, which should now then roll forward to the invoice. All right, let's check it out. Closing it up, checking it out. So we're going to go to the invoice, and let's do this for, I think we just called them customer 1, 2, 3, and 4 to make it nice and easy. So I'm going to say tab, and we're going to say, yeah. So this is QuickBooks saying, I'm paraphrasing, hey, we've got some billable time for this customer. Do you want us to add that in here? And we're going to say, okay, yes, please. And then it's in the billable time tab, first item. So we're going to say, yep, let's select those two up to 300. So there we have it, the 75 and the 75, pulling in from the guitar lessons, and it's a non-taxable item. So what's this going to do? It's going to increase the accounts receivable. The other side's going to go to the service income, and it's also going to increase the subledger, saying that this customer 1, owes us money. Let's put this in place as of 02/27/22, 02/27/22. Let's save it and close it. Check it out. Save it and close it. I'm not going to email it. Uncheck the email. It's a practice problem. We're just practicing. And then we're going to go to the trial balance. Check it out. Accounts receivable. Double clicking on it. There we have customer 1. Closing it back out. On the income side of things and the sales area, we've got the sales revenue as well. Down here is this is not the right revenue account. We're looking at the service revenue here. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. So that is it. Closing it back out. Then we can go to the subledger reports drop down for the receivables, customers and receivables, customer balance detail. And now we see that customer 1's got that billable item, the total then totaling up to the 21,256.60. Let's pull that back on over to the trusty TB 21,256.50. We'll just add the rest of them and then come back over here and double check them. Let's go to the home page, and we'll just do another invoice. And we had another one for customer 2, customer number 2. We're just billing them all out on the same day. Yep, just pull in that billable time, select all of it, and OK. So we're charging customer 2 the $300 as well. So this time this is going to increase accounts receivable. Other side, go in the sales. Let's go save and new. I'm not going to email it. Not going to email it. I thought I told you that last time. I'm not emailing it because this is a practice problem. Save and new. And then we'll say customer 3. Customer number 3 is next on the list. And we're going to say yes, we want to add the time. Select all the time. This is for Erica this time. Different billable rate. It pulls in for their billable rate. Same date. So now we've got Erica's billable rate for the 2, 115, and 115 for the 460. Let's do it one more time. Save and new. Save and new. No, I'm not emailing it. I got to unclick the email. Save it and new it. And then we're going to say that we've got the customer number 4. Customer number 4. Okay. And checking those off. Okay. And there we have it again. Let's say save it and close it this time. This time we're going to save it and close it. And I not one time did I realize to do that first, but that's okay. I'll get it one of these days. Save it and close it. Then I'm going to go to the balance sheet. Check out the accounts receivable by double clicking on it. Let's check it out of the balance sheet this time. So there we got customer 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the items that are owed from them. Closing this back out. The income statement, profit and loss, P&L, with the sales revenue, service revenue has increased by these items that we have just invoiced for the customers 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to say that on the balance sheet, if we look at the subledger for the accounts receivable, 22,476, the subledger customer balance detail adds up to the 22,476, and we've got our customers up top for customer 1, 2, 3, and 4 owing us money. Let's assume that we get paid by one customer and just follow that through the end process here. So if I got paid by customer 1, if we go back to the payment, say I'm going to receive a payment from customer 1, and we're going to just say that's going to be customer number 1. There's the invoice. We could check it off. I'm just going to keep it at cash for the purposes of the practice problem. Keep it at the 227. It's going to be going into undeposited funds. What's this going to do? It's going to go into undeposited funds and decrease the accounts receivable, applying this $300 out against the invoice that we just put in place. Let's save it and close it, and then just do the deposit for it. So we'll save it and close it. And then if we check it out, if we go to the trial balance, for example, we now have in undeposited funds that $300, and the other side then decreasing the accounts receivable. Accounts receivable went down. And if I look at the subledger for the accounts receivable, I'm at the 22,176.50. Subledger also at the 22,176.50. The customer 1 had an invoice which has now been paid. If I go back to the home page, let's finish this off and deposit it along with that other item we had in the prior presentation for the 2 deposits that we can deposit at one time this time. So I'm going to select this. The 2 items popping up that came from either a sales receipt or a received payment from an invoice, we're checking them both off, and okay. There's the 227, 400 going into the checking account. That's going to increase the checking account undeposited funds going down by the 400.20, but in 2 separate line items posted to that GL account. Save it and close it and check it out. Go into the trusty trial balance. Checking account now has been increased by that deposit. So there is the deposit. Looks appropriate. Looks good. Let's double check on it just to see it. There it is. There it is. And then closing this back out, then the other side's in undeposited funds back on down to 0, and it recorded here with the 2 transactions so that we can tick and tie them off from the sales receipt and the payments, up top. There we have it. So let's close this back out. This is where we stand at this point in time with regards to the trial balance. Checking your numbers if you're following along with the practice problem. If anything is different, Try changing the date range. It's often a date issue, especially with the practice problems. And we'll be going through the transaction detail reports you can check your numbers with at the end. We'll also be doing our best to provide those backup files so that you could possibly rework if you so choose, taking you to a closer point within the practice problem to do so.